Meet with our spouses and recognize that it is God who giveth power to make wealth. It's in that spirit of thanksgiving that I welcome all of you to this wonderful dinner. Sit, enjoy yourself, be happy. In Business Triangle Fellowship, we meet one another, we share cards, we talk to one another, we connect businesses, and it works. Not too long ago, somebody wanted to buy 4 million carts of paracetamol. And they spoke to me, and I spoke to somebody. And that business is ongoing right now. Am I communicating? So that's what BTF is all about. So relax, make new friends today, take things to higher level, and the God of peace, prosperity, and plenty will be your portion. Thank you.
Thank you. Please put your hands together for him again. Put your hands together. I beg, no, they play this thing. I beg, there are people here. So when I say clap, they can clap. That noise is actually for radio. When you're listening, then they will clap so that you believe that there are people. All right? Thank you. I love your pastor. I love him so much that he mentioned, are you feeling my vibe? He knows what time it is. Put your hands together for him again. Are you feeling my vibe? Okay. This man I'm bringing next has been a very good friend of mine. He's someone who actually has about 4 jobs, or 5 jobs, or 6 jobs. And one thing I'm very thankful for is that nobody knew about Labour Party. I dey lie. But Peter Obi now is the candidate for presidency under the Labour Party. Made Labour Party very popular. And this man is actually one of the founders of Labour Party. Put your hands together for him. And the man whom I'm talking about is none other than Professor Pat Utomi. Thank you.
I'm predicting a miracle. Thank you. I've just prophesied that he will jump like that very soon. The way I jumped up here. Thank you. Thank you. Please, let's be seated. And the church, thanksgiving for the privilege of being here. Thanksgiving for the life. I actually had the good fortune of spending Thanksgiving just last week in the United States of America. And Thanksgiving is their most important holiday. They even celebrate the gift of life. How many of you can give anybody life? We take it for granted. The privilege and the gift to be able to venture and have success at it. We take it for granted. Many of us take it for granted. But thank God that even before Deuteronomy told us that it is He, not you, that makes it happen. He set for us a course. And oftentimes when I talk, I say I'm a Genesis 2:15 Christian. Because in the very apportioning of who we are in our foundation, he decreed that we should become his partner. He's the one that makes wealth, but he wants us to be a partner, bringing creation towards its perfection. If you go and read 2:15 well, Genesis 2:15, God makes us co-creators with him, moving creation towards his perfection. And that is the empowerment to go out there and create wealth. But you cannot create that wealth in a sustainable way unless we understand a few simple and basic things. This wealth that many of us get so obsessed with, it can come and go just like that. And if you are afraid of it going, nothing at all. I learned something a few years ago. Gentleman that I have had the fortune and privilege of being friendly with for nearly 40 years was chief executive of Nigerian breweries and many other companies, of course. And a friend of mine, a professor in the United States, wrote his biography. Elder Felix Ohiwere. In writing his biography, Professor Emmanuel Emeonu started with the motto of Ohiwere's old school. And the motto, is anybody here from Government Secondary School Owerri? Yeah, the motto of Government Secondary School Owerri, which Ohiwere went to, basically enjoins you to work hard, play hard. Says that when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something lost. When character is lost, all is lost. And after Emma sent me the draft of that book and I read it, it became a mantra that I used even in my teaching at the Lagos Business School. And I would illustrate it with real successful people. Now, at that time, I used to use a video of a very successful American billionaire who lost his entire fortune. And saw some homeless guy. He looked at the homeless guy and said, wow, that guy is worth so much more than I. At the very least, he's worth zero. I am worth far less than zero. 3 years later, that man was back a billionaire. Many years after I stopped using that to teach, that man became president of the United States of America. His name is Donald J. Trump. 25 years ago, when I was using that video to teach, Donald Trump was broke. He was completely bankrupt. 3 years later, he was back a billionaire, and he lost everything again. On Thanksgiving Day, by irony, I drove by the front of his house in Mar-a-Lago, in West Palm Beach, in Florida. Now, the exciting thing about life is that this empowerment to be able to make that wealth, and even if we lose it, make it again, comes from a certain understanding, witty way of who we are, why we are who we are, and how we sustain success. Many of us will look at regions of the world that prosper, Europe, and some of us think that somehow God created the. Part of it is because we don't read history. Where did the white man come from? Well, the first man on earth was a black man. Life started in Africa, amongst the most famous of which are guns, gems, and steel. It's really about how human civilization evolved. Started in Africa. Some people migrated northwards. Weather affected their pigmentation, and they were bleached and became white. But they were black men originally. I bet you. But there are one that we have today come from. Did not come from Europe. It came from what is referred to as the Fertile Crescent. An area running from Egypt and what was the big point of evolution of this civilization? Well, man went from hunter, kill another beast, and you just chewed the meat raw. Well, you discovered fire and so on and so forth, and transited to being a farmer. Gets other animals, domesticates them, and cultivates them for food. Now that transition led to something we have just experienced and affected our businesses very badly. Diseases jumped from animal, man, and wiped out significant portions of humanity. Civilization, the 6 killer apps of Western power. 6 killer apps of Western power. What are these killer apps that has separated the West from the rest? One of them is entrepreneurship. Very, very fundamentally of value is the evolution of institutions. Barack Obama, as President of the United States, visiting Africa for the first time in Accra, Ghana,